What's going on YouTube? It's Teej back again with another video, and today we continue our Sim Rebuild franchise series, and today we are inheriting the Denver Broncos. Excited to get into this one, and this is a challenging team moving forward, and we'll talk about it throughout the length of this video. But first, subscribe if you're new to the channel and like Madden and football content like this. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video, and comment down below if you think the Denver Broncos will win a Super Bowl within the next 3 years. Odds are probably not likely, but nonetheless, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Alright, so here is a look at the Denver Broncos depth chart. This includes some of their upcoming free agents, and we'll talk about a few of them here in 1 second. We'll actually go negotiate with at least one of them, more than likely a handful of them. But first, hope you guys are all having a great week. Let's have some positive comments. Let's have some positive spirits. By the time you're seeing this, it's almost the weekend. There you go, something to be happy about to close out your week. But when looking at this Denver Broncos team, obviously the big question starts with the most important position on the field at quarterback. Drew Lock, is he the answer? I mean, coming out of college, I definitely thought he could be a franchise QB. I'm kind of biased to players who have those can't-be-taught qualities. Like, I saw Drew Lock as somebody with a really strong arm, and he has some of those things you just can't teach a player and can't make them improve upon. As somebody who played sports and didn't have a strong arm, wasn't very fast, didn't have natural athleticism, I am biased to players, and I like players who naturally have that, and then the idea of coaching them up where they're weak is something that naturally is just like appealing to me. But Drew Lock, man, it just has not worked out thus far. At the end of his rookie year, gets some playing time and looks good over the last, I think it was 4 games. And then last year he got hurt against the Steelers and missed some time, and ultimately things just didn't work out. He is playing behind in so-so offensive line. Garrett Bowles was actually not bad this past year, which was surprising. Jawan James was injured. They did sign Graham Glass now, I think 2 off seasons ago now. They drafted Logan Cushenberry, so they have addressed the offensive line, but it's not stellar by any stretch of the imagination. But where this team is really special is obviously with its skill position group. I mean, like last offseason, they signed Melvin Gordon, and when Phillip Lindsay's healthy, this is one of the best tandems in the NFL at the running back position. And then Cortland Sutton, it's a shame he's knocked down to star dev. This dude's a superstar in the making in my eyes. I love Cortland Sutton. And then Jerry Jeudy, superstar development for a good reason. Tim Patrick had some big games. I'm also a big fan of KJ Hamler. I keep going too far, but KJ Hamler, liked his tape out of Penn State. And then Noah Fant, another one of those stars in the making. And really, this team, in a lot of ways, the reason they're going after Deshaun Watson in real life is because the offense, at least, is a QB away from being elite. Then you look at the defense, and Von Miller's a tough situation to handle in real life just because of his off-the-field problems that have arose as of late. He would make $18 million against the cap, obviously a huge number, though when he's on the field, he's one of, if not the best, pass-rushing outside linebacker in the NFL. And that's kind of a position, in my mind, you can't overpay at. I mean, I say that, don't hyperbolize it. You can't pay somebody $60 million a year or something like that, but if you have one of or the best pass rusher in the NFL, pay the person what they want. Same thing with Aaron Donald. It's like, I wouldn't say this for most IDL players, but Aaron Donald's a freak of nature, and he's the best defensive player since Lawrence Taylor in my eyes. So pay the man whatever he wants. In a lot of ways, I see the same thing with Von Miller, though I will say he is getting up there in age, 32 years old. And what it means here for Madden, though I keep these rebuilds realistic, you have to account for a little bit of Madden and what goes on there. He's going to be regressing from here on out. Superstar X Factor, though, does combat that. Kareem Jackson is a free agent, as is Justin Simmons, who I will pay him whatever he wants. To me, he's among the top 3 to 5 safeties in the NFL. In real life, if I were the Jacksonville Jaguars, I'd be going after him so I could use my later first-round pick on a tackle or a tight end. I want to talk about that a little bit more in video coming out in a couple of days, putting up another mock draft. Hopefully you guys are excited for that. Also, a reason to potentially move on from Von Miller is Malik Reed. Looked okay this past year, and him and Chubb might be good enough to get the job done. Simmons, though, that's priority number 1 for me. I'm bringing back Justin Simmons if it costs me everything. Also in real life, AJ Boye has already been cut, so I will do that here in 1 second. Bryce Callahan is a stud, especially in the slot, and I think Michael Ojemudia played really well this past year. I think he's deserving of higher than a 75 overall, but he's about to go into his 2nd year, so there's plenty of time to get that dev upgrade and get that overall up. Shelby Harris is a free agent. He played great this year. Jurrell Casey, not so much, and he has a ton of money against the cap. I will also cut him. That's an almost certain move that the Broncos will make this offseason. And Draymond Jones is a really solid player too. I don't know if I'll play him an end or a D tackle. Ultimately, he might be the Jurrell Casey replacement here at left end, but I don't know, and obviously you'll be up to date as this video goes along. And then here are the special teams. I mean, Brandon McManus is, still a stud, and they got a star dev punter. That's always good. So there's a look at the team. Now let's look at some of our free agents. All right, so we'll start things off with Justin Simmons, and I will say safety is not a position I would normally pay somebody this much money for. But less than $10 million, if he were to take this deal in real life, I feel like that would be pretty low. Honestly, I think he can do better. But here, he accepts it, and we will take it gladly. On to Philip Lindsay. Man, I just don't know if I can pay him $8 million a year. It'll only be $5 million against the cap, I suppose. That's not too bad. 93 speed. I don't know. There's always an abundance of running backs on the open market. And honestly, running back is a position, stereotyping here, that you can win without being excellent at. This team already has Melvin Gordon, who is better, in my eyes, than Philip Lindsay. So I think I'm going to let Lindsay walk. We may re-sign him depending on the running back market in free agency. Alexander Johnson, he's 29 years old. He's only going to be regressing from here on out. Already only has 81 speed, so you're thinking at the end of a 3-year deal, it's conceivable he's down to 74, 75 speed, which just is not great, especially in the modern NFL. So I don't think I offer Alexander Johnson a contract either, though I do think he plays pretty well in real life. And this is a tough one too. Shelby Harris was great in real life, but 30-year-old normal dev player making almost, what would that be, $7.5 to $8 million a year? I can't justify that. Tim Patrick's a free agent. I think there's already enough depth at that wide receiver spot. Plus, there's always an abundance of options in free agency, so I don't think we offer him this contract. Will Parks, he's a solid option there at safety. And at the minimum, he could be good depth. So we might bring him back. But now that I look at it, 27 years old, normal dev, I don't think he has a huge market, so we can probably get him back for cheaper than that. DeMarcus Walker, Elijah Wilkinson, Jake Butt, everyone else looks to be backups. So I think outside of Justin Simmons, I have done all the work I'm going to do here at this stage of the offseason. Okay, so we are now officially into free agency, but as always in these videos, I'm going to go through and we're going to make some cuts, try to create some more cap space. I'm not going to do it this offseason because Jawan James is still 76 overall, and that's not bad for Madden, and it only saved us $2 million. But in 2022, he's scheduled to make 16. Hopefully the penalty is smaller, and he will probably become a cap casualty next offseason. He'll be 30 years old. He'll regress from that 76 overall, so won't be this offseason, but James soon will be out the door. And that brings us to our first cap casualty. As mentioned, Jurrell Casey is way gone. $12.3 million freed up, no penalty whatsoever. He has star dev, but you know what? He's just not the guy for us. And I think I'm leaning towards keeping Von Miller. I think in real life he does come back. A lot of it depends on the off-the-field issues. And if Denver elects down a road where those off-the-field issues are too much for them to take a flyer, I don't know how many other teams are willing to take that risk. I mean, I could see a team like Tampa Bay, make that move, or an immediate contender like that. Go ahead and pull the trigger and, potentially deal with the flack that might come. Malik Reed is a good player. And it may be something where, we trade Von Miller near the end of the season. Probably won't get a whole lot for him because he'll be down, 8 games on his contract, but we might be able to get something for him, mid-round pick, something along those lines. We'll see, though. It depends on our record at the midseason point. As mentioned earlier, I am going to cut AJ Boye. This has already been done in real life, so this is not like breaking news. Saves us $13.5 million, which is dumbfounded that he was making that much money. And my fault. I thought Kareem Jackson was a free agent this offseason, but he is somebody we could cut. Although last year of his deal, we have cap space. I don't feel the need to make this move right here, right now. And if anything, maybe we trade him kind of like Von Miller at the midseason point if we're really bad, but we'll see. I'm leaning towards keeping him right now. 84 overall. He's a good compliment towards Simmons on the back end. All right, let's get into the fun part. And Levante David would serve an immediate need. Only star dev, though. If he had superstar, I'd be inclined to give him this 2-year deal because it'll fight regression a little better. But with just star, I'm not so sure. I'll probably address corner here. I would love for our 9th overall pick in the draft to be something like linebacker or maybe even QB. So if we could address corner right now, that would free up the opportunity to do just that. So because of that, I am going to offer a contract here to Shaquille Griffin. We had him in the Bills rebuild, but honestly, at the same time, I could see both these teams being buyers for Shaquille Griffin. So while I don't like having him in consecutive videos, I also do see a realm of reality where it is possible. Obviously, linebacker is another big position of need. We could go out there and spend a lot of money on Jayon Brown. Could also bring Alexander Johnson. He's kind of gone by both. We could bring Alexander Johnson back, though they both have competition, and they want the exact same deal, ironically enough. But Jayon Brown's 3 years younger, so obviously he would become my preferred choice. 87 speed, only 71 block shed, though. I tell you what, I kind of like the stats here on Reuben Foster. He's bounced around the league a few years now. We can give him a 2-year contract, only normal development, which obviously is not great, but he's got no competition. We'll lower the offer a little bit. I think we can get him on a reasonable deal. Him and Josie Jewell might be a good enough tandem in the middle of that linebacking core. And this team could use a defensive tackle. I'm leaning towards keeping Draymond Jones at left end. So because of that, we definitely could use a defensive tackle. And right now, Gerald McCoy has no interest from anyone around the league. So if we can get him on a little bit cheaper, it's also a 1-year deal. We still would have $36+ million to play around with. We'll see if he takes this deal, but I'm intrigued by putting him in the middle of the defensive line. Yeah, and obviously I'm not a huge fan of this QB market. And I mean, like, Colin Kaepernick would be an upgrade over Drew Lock. I haven't heard anything about him getting interest this free agency, which is kind of dumbfounding to me because I think he would be an upgrade for a handful of teams. But nonetheless, because of that, and I'm trying to keep these realistic, I will just go ahead and let Indianapolis, the Patriots, and the Jets fight over him. And Phillip Rivers is retired, and I'd almost rather roll out with Drew Lock, see if he can get better, than bring Cam Newton to Denver. And when it comes to Phillip Lindsay, he's got no interest. So ultimately, what we did was wait a little bit, and instead of giving him a 4-year deal, we're going to offer him a 2-year contract. I'll lower the money just a hair. Actually, on a per-year basis, I think that's more money than what he was looking for, but it's a shorter contract, and then he would be off for hands by the time he's 29 and regressing fully. He's not a huge fan of that offer, but, we'll see. And if not him, I mean, Kenyon Drake, great option there. James Conner would be fine. Mike Davis, Le'Veon Bell, Gus Edwards, Damian Williams. I mean, it literally goes on and on and on in this free agency running back class. So we advanced to stage 2, and we have brought Phillip Lindsay back to Denver and got an accepted contract from Shaquille Griffin. That's awesome. That means there's one other person we haven't heard back from, if my memory serves right. Actually, 2 players. Gerald McCoy, who we're still his only offer, not bumping that up. And then Reuben Foster. He got a big offer there from the Arizona Cardinals. So let's go ahead and look at this middle linebacker free agency class, and now Foster is the top option. I don't know about giving him a 3-year deal. I just don't know if I want him by the time he's 30. I will bump this money up a little bit, and let's see. We have so much cap room to play with, and honestly, not a whole lot of holes to fill, so I don't really mind, especially if it's to the signing bonus here. I don't mind paying Foster a little bit more and trying to bring him to our defense, and 103 points, that definitely will put us in the lead. I'm looking here at right end. I think Shelby Harris might have... Yep, I forgot to sign Shelby Harris. That's disappointing. Wouldn't have actually kind of liked the idea of Trey Hendrickson. He's more of a 4-3 DN, but I think there's some room to work with there. But Shelby Harris is on his way to New England. Therefore, right end just became a big-time need for us. And Melvin Ingram is here. 32 years old, only star dev. Man, we have the cap space, but that's not necessarily a justification to go be stupid with it at the same time. And what we could do is bring in somebody like Derek Wolfe, move Draymond Jones over to right end. Wolfe used to be a Bronco. Only wants a 1-year deal. That fits. Let me think about this. Yeah, and as I'm looking over these options at right end, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring Derek Wolfe back to Denver just on a 1-year deal. Money doesn't really matter that much. We have plenty of cap flexibility. And we'll move Wolfe or Jones over to right end. So we're on to stage 3, and we have an accepted contract from a trio of players. That's awesome to see. On the defensive side of the football, Foster, McCoy, Wolfe, all headed to Denver. And we also have a 5th-year option. This is for Bradley Chubb. We'll definitely pick that up, no doubt about it. Especially with Von Miller possibly on his way out, he becomes one of maybe the most important player on that defense for Denver moving forward. So here's a look at the team. We're midway through the free agency period, and honestly, things are looking pretty good. I could go out there and address IOL, but they paid Glass now. 76 overall is okay. It's fine. We could use a backup right tackle, it appears. Okay, never mind. That's just because Juwan James is hurt. But I was like, Albert Okwuegbunam is not a tackle. And I mean, I could go out there and sign a center or move Cushenberry down on the depth chart. At least this guy's got star dev. Forgive me, I don't know how to say his name off the top of my head right now. But I think Cushenberry has starter potential. But we'll see. Nonetheless, I don't think there's a need to go out there and sign a center. For the rest of the offense, though, I mean, I like what I see. I might go out there and get a different receiver. Deshaun Hamilton's, for a 4th receiver, I guess it doesn't matter that much, but we could also use a backup QB. Right now, my guy Brandon McManus would be that dude. So maybe we'll do that. I also would love to go quarterback in this draft, but there is no guarantee that this generated class is going to be any good. So with that said, maybe we'll go out there and do a little bit more with this free agent class. Oh, also, dude, I am such an idiot. This flat out says rejected. How dumb can I be? Yeah, that didn't hit me till I was looking at the depth chart and I was like, yo, where's Reuben Foster? My inability to read is kind of frightening. And there's not a whole lot of other options here at inside linebacker. I think I'm just going to bring in Patrick because he's better than the 64 overall number 2 middle linebacker that we have. It'll definitely just be a 1-year deal, but not loving that option. And when it comes to wide receiver depth, there's plenty of options, but the more I think about it, I'm just going to have KJ Hamler play in the slot, and hopefully he gets better. If he doesn't take a step forward, then we'll address wide receiver next offseason. But despite Hamler being like a low 70 overall player, I'm trying to stay true to what the Broncos' plan is, considering they took him in the 2nd round last year. He's going to be somebody who gets significant playing time this season. And basically just for some extra cornerback depth, I'm going to go ahead and offer a contract to Garyon Conley, 91 speed, 78 man. That's fine. 26 years old. He'll keep getting better. Cheap contract. You can never have enough cornerback depth. I say that so much in these videos, but it's always true. Real life, Madden, you can never have enough CBs. So in stage 4, we have accepted contracts from Patrick and Garyon Conley. So now we will simulate to the NFL draft. So here's who is still a free agent: Jared Cook, Olivier Vernon. It kind of sucks because after the draft, the computer gets first dibs on these free agents that are still out on the market. So a lot of these guys probably won't be available for us, but if they are, it's certainly worth considering. But a lot of these players aren't at positions of need. Maybe we bring in Tyson Alualu for like depth or whatever, but not a whole lot more to it. Here's how the NFL free agent signings played out. Levante David going to Carolina. It's interesting. He stays in the NFC South. That'd be a cool storyline. Will Fuller to the Lions. Like it. Texans bring in Marlon Mack, Melvin Ingram, if I want to say that right, goes to Cincy. Kenny Golladay. I would love to see that in real life, especially any Washington football fans. I'm sure you would as well. Bengals also grabbed Desmond King, Gronk to the Jets, Marcus Williams to Washington, Marcus May, Juju to the Titans. Ugh. I do not like that idea. Corey Davis to the Pats. They should spend as much money as possible on wide receivers. William Jackson III to the Raiders. That addresses a need. I'm not going to go through all of these. But here's a feeler for how the league is going to play out moving forward. Colin Kaepernick is on his way to New England. That would make sense for me in real life. I could buy into that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for free agency. Now let's jump into the draft. All right, so the Denver Broncos hold the 9th overall pick. I do want to see this automated draft board. Hopefully there's some good QBs. Oh, dude, are you kidding me? Dude, rip. Oh, L in the chat. So with that bummer aside, I guess we'll just simulate to the 9th overall pick. And honestly, I'm thinking about trading it. Like, if there's any way I can get Deshaun Watson, I might go ahead and pull the trigger. There are buyers in real life, so I can see it in this. But I'll see what other options are available here on the board. Could get a nasty defensive end like Ben Watson here. Early first round grade, Steven Griffin, mid first. Juan Palmer. I'm almost positive I've had him. I'm 99% sure he was in that Bills video, right? And he was pretty good. Okay, early first round. So maybe we draft Juan Palmer. And then he could be the replacement to Derek Wolfe long term. Worth a thought. And all the middle linebackers in this class are not good. Actually, not all of them. Whoa, actually, got halfway decent down the board. But we can obviously wait on Reggie here. And I kind of like the idea of just waiting on him. So I'm going to try to be bold. I'm going to try to get Deshaun Watson or a veteran QB like that. There's even good value here at cornerback. Number 140 time. All right. Trayvon Reed made me, lose my train of thought there. Dang, okay. May revisit that. But if I can't pull off a trade for a QB that I could see getting traded this offseason, then I'll probably just take Juan Palmer and have him be our new left end. Really waiting on Madden to update these rosters. J.J. Watt is no longer on the Houston Texans, and we had to cut A.J. Boye. Come on, Madden. You're barely producing any content, at least on MUT. Step up. Honestly, if this trade were to go through, I don't find it to be realistic, so I would probably make another trade and just do it for the Texans' 7th round pick. Just to be clear, I don't want to try to just cheat the system, but I don't even think this trade goes through. And it does not make it, but barely halfway. Interesting. Malik Reed and 2 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. Does it go through? No. Yeah, so I was not able to get Deshaun Watson, and it sucks. Madden only lets you offer 3 things for a given player, which I think they do that so you don't spam a bunch of mid-round picks and ultimately make the value go through. But it's just so annoying that Madden is dumb like that. But nonetheless, we're going to take Juan Palmer, early first-round talent, 3rd fastest 40, and it is a position of need, so we take Palmer. Only normal dev. I cannot catch a break with that, but number 4 player in the class, and we took him at number 9. 83 speed, 87 power moves. Got to work on the block shed, but nonetheless, I think he actually might be our starter over Derek Wolfe on day 1. So we're now into the 2nd round, and given that there's no good QBs, you know what that means? That means we're getting a year of Drew Lock. And hey, sometimes on Madden Sims, he's nice. Sometimes he just turns it around and he just becomes a stud for no reason. So maybe that happens for us. Jalen Haskins, late 1st round pick. I think defensive tackle makes a ton of sense here, but there's just great value here. And Frank Rucker, who actually I think he was in that Bills rebuild. What's with this class? Why did I get the exact same class 2 videos in a row? That's so lame. So I think here in the 2nd round, I'm going to spring for Trayvon Reed. Fastest 40 time of this class. I mean, honestly, he just dominated the combine. Those numbers are crazy. Late 1st round talent. We're taking him here in the middle of the 2nd. And hidden dev. Okay, I finally hit on one. Dude, okay, that's big. 94 speed. Definitely got to work on the man coverage, but we'll play him at CB4, get him some nickel reps, and I think we may be able to work with that skill set and make him into a stud and maybe a key part of the defense if we were to make a playoff and Super Bowl run in year 3. So here in round number 3, we're going to do one of 2 things. We could take Reggie here. He's a 2nd round talent, 5th round projection, or we take Frank, 6th round projection, 1st round talent. I'm going to go with Frank here. Yeah, I'm going to go with Frank, have him be the long-term. Oh, 2 in a row. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm on a roll. Let's go. Frank Rucker, hidden dev. Let's get it. 77 block shed, 92 strength. I'm sorry, Gerald McCoy. I know we just signed you, but Rucker might be coming for your job. We'll see. And like, if we're 2-6 at the midseason point, I will move all these rookies up to starting spots to just give them as much experience possible. And for our 5th round pick, let's see if that linebacker is there. I am praying that he is, and he is indeed. So this will probably be our inside linebacker moving forward. Only normal dev. The run had to come to an end eventually. 69 overall, 83 speed, and a solid enough skill set to work with. 82 hit power is okay. Not too bad. And honestly, I'll probably play Reggie over Patrick. I know we just brought in Patrick, but it's on a 1-year deal. I don't really mind wasting the money. We had cap flexibility, and I'd rather just get a rookie extra experience and try to improve upon him day one. Whoa, look at this. Undrafted first-round talent? Dude. Jeff Eppard? Yo. Oh my gosh. Well, we gotta take him, right? Like, yeah, I can't let him slide anymore. We gotta take him. Only normal dev, but number 23 player in the class? That is lit. That was actually kind of sick. Madden like put an undrafted player this high. So, I mean, hey, we'll take it. And, he's a backup. Second D tackle we drafted this class alone. But, we'll take the value for sure. Best player available on the board, at least that we have scouted, is Shaq Moore. And I'm going to go ahead and take him. Undrafted projection, 5th round talent. Maybe he has hidden dev. He doesn't. That sucks. But the real reason I took him is Charleston Southern. For those who don't know, I went to Longwood University. Members of the Big South Conference with Charleston Southern. Charleston Southern, though, has football. Longwood did not. But Shaq Moore, cool. A fun depth player, for sure. And with that now taken care of, I'm going to go ahead and just let the computer take care of our 7th round pick. So here's a recap of our draft class. Whoa, we had 3 7s? Dude, dude, the computer just made their money's worth. Okay, that was crazy. Here's a look at the entire draft class, though, all jokes aside. And the top player in this class was a 79 overall wide receiver, Kenny Pollard. Okay. And then John Edwards, kind of interesting. You see, like, the best players in this class not going, number 1. Running back going 4th overall. That's interesting. 93 speed. Carl Goodson might be a stud. Does he have hidden development? He does. Okay, that definitely makes it worthwhile. Bunch of first rounders who got some good value. Matt Vernon, another running back. 3rd rounder here. Darnell Tolbert. Browns got a steal there, like they need more running backs. But whatever. Decent pick here, and Tony Wiley. I saw he was on the board, run-stopping archetype, but decided obviously not to take him, but yeah, not too bad. Rambling aside, that is it for the offseason, and now we get to see what this team's all about, in specific, what Drew Lock is all about. Okay, before regular season number 1, here is a look at the team. Juwan James is out 1 more week with his injury, so he will be at the right tackle spot. Offensive line's not bad. We know Noah Fant is good. Skill position group didn't change too much. We'll talk about KJ Hamler again in 1 second. The X factor is this man here, Drew Lock. We will go as he goes. As for the defense, fair amount of changes here. Juan Palmer will start immediately, and I'm actually going to have Draymond Jones start over Derek Wolfe here at left end. He's younger. He could use the experience more. And here's something else. Eppard, that projected undrafted player, actually a higher overall than Rucker. Though Rucker has the hidden dev, and we're definitely going to try to get him playing time. I'm going to start McCoy right now, but if we're like 2-6 at the midseason point, then I'll just go ahead and move Rucker to the starting spot. When it comes to the cornerback position, I actually got to make one change here. But Shaquille Griffin and Bryce Callahan lead the group. Callahan's going to be playing in the slot, and I just moved Ojemudia up to the number 3 corner spot. So basically, if we're in a nickel defense, it'll be Ojemudia and Griffin on the outside, with Callahan playing the nickel. Obviously, solid safeties. Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons is a stud. Reed needs to improve that man coverage, so I don't know how much time he sees this year out on the field. And here's the special teams if you care. And for the specialist rush ends, as you would expect, Chubb Miller, McCoy right now in the middle. I'm actually going to bump Palmer up to rush D tackle number 2. Don't really care for any of our sub linebackers. Bryce Callahan, as mentioned, in the slot. KJ Hamler, coming back to that as I promised. Slot wide receiver. Hopefully he has a huge year, can get like a dev upgrade. He just needs to be higher than a 71 overall. And Melvin Gordon right now looks to be getting all the touches, and I'm not mad about it. I think that's fine. So with all that taken care of, let's go ahead and simulate to the midseason point. Alright, so at the midseason point, we're coming off a win against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are 3-4. Not too bad. Here's a look at our upcoming free agent class. Obviously, it includes Von Miller. We'll see. Maybe we tag him. We do have Malik Reed, who is going to be going into his age 26 season, if memory serves. We could have him and Chubb and save a ton of money by not signing Von Miller, but also he's Von Miller. But ultimately, regression will be key in deciding if he comes back. Same thing for Kareem Jackson, and in a lot of ways, the same thing for Melvin Gordon. Bryce Callahan is really good, and he only wants a one-year deal, though he is 29, so he'll probably regress a little bit to continue to give that answer, and therefore the money will probably go down. We'll sign him almost certainly, but I think he'll be a little cheaper if we just wait. Cortland Sutton, I don't know what his stats are looking like this year. We can go ahead and cheat a little bit and see how he's faring this year, but he's also got an upgrade. That's always cool. But nonetheless, I'd like to keep him around. Only 25 years old. I hate that he's down to star dev, but nonetheless, 13.4 yards a catch, on pace. I think that would put him on pace for a 1,000-yard season. Only 2 touchdowns, but you know what? I think we're going to go ahead and offer this contract to Cortland Sutton. I hit B too many times. Nice. Yeah, looking at this deal, though, $12 million a year for Cortland Sutton. It's up to an 83 overall. That was, had to go upgrade him and a few other players. We have almost $76 million in cap room. I think I'm going to go ahead and just offer him this, and he will take that offer. He will continue to improve in overall over the next 3 to 4 years, so that's obviously good. And he could potentially get up to maybe an 88, maybe 89, 90 territory on just star dev. If he gets to superstar, he could definitely do better than that. Gerald McCoy, we'll wait and see. PJ Hall, I don't even know if he's seen the field. RG3, I totally forgot to get a backup QB, so now he's backing up Drew Lock. That's tough. Quinn Johnson, no. Derek Wolfe, probably not. Malik Reed, though. And if we're going to let Von Miller walk, he definitely becomes somebody you want to keep around. And I think, honestly, this is a really small offer, and he does do a number of things well. He's pretty good against the run. Okay, finesse move, and this is $4.7 million against the cap. He's only 25 years old, and he's about to get another upgrade, so he's assumed to be 75 overall. I'm glad he accepted that contract, and I'm glad to keep him in Denver. Here's the rest of the class. We can't negotiate with them yet, but won't be bringing back Deshaun Hamilton. Won't bring back Royce Freeman. Definitely not bringing back Patrick. Josie Jewell, maybe. But here's a look at the division. We sit third in the AFC West. Dude, the Chargers just absolutely laying an egg. But the Raiders 5-2, keeping up with the Chiefs. Dude, that is tough. AFC West might be the toughest division in football. Here's a look at the stats. We're 21st in offensive yards. Drew Lock, middle of the pack in passing. 19th in defensive yards. Fair amount of touchdowns for Melvin Gordon. 12th in scoring as I bounce back and forth like a ping pong. 25th in defensive scoring. Real quick, I just want to see Drew Lock's numbers. 11 touchdowns to 4 picks, 245 yards a game. Okay, he's not bad. 100 passer rating. Okay, 64% completion percent. Okay, he's not bad. He's not doing too bad. But, he's still on the hot seat. We're still looking to upgrade that position. Also, we're in a tough spot here. I don't know if I want to try to trade Gerald McCoy or bump up Rucker. I don't think I'm going to trade Miller or McCoy, but what I think I will do is move Rucker into the starting defensive tackle position and maybe even move Eppert up to number 2. Defensive tackle is not like a huge position in Madden. It probably won't even make that much of a difference, like comparatively speaking, like wins could have had or whatever. But nonetheless, I'd like to see these two players get some more snaps, and Gerald McCoy is probably not going to be playing for us next year, so it doesn't really serve us any good by getting him experience and playing time. Also, it should be noted, Shaquille Griffin is hurt currently. He's out 4 more weeks, so that will not help this team, but maybe we can play 500 football, he comes back, and we can sneak in the playoffs, maybe like 9-7. I don't know. Probably wishful thinking, but we'll simulate to the playoffs. Alright, so we have closed out the season with a loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We finished the year at 6-10. Obviously not in the playoffs. And weren't the Raiders like 5-2? They kind of had a monumental collapse towards the end of the year. Kind of actually a case of a lot of John Gruden teams, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We'll go ahead and jump into the stats here in 1 second. So we finished the year second to last in offensive yards. You love to see it. And Drew Lock was second to last in passing yards. We were one of the worst defensive teams in regards to yards, 22nd in scoring, and 25th in defensive scoring. So this team was just bad all the way around. The rating definitely fell for Drew Lock. 26 touchdowns to 8 picks. Doesn't even throw for 3,500 yards. Yeesh. I don't know if that's him because the completion percentage was okay. Is it the playbook? I don't know. I hate pointing the finger at that. The receiving numbers, KJ Hamler led the way in regards to receiving yards. Most touchdowns goes to Cortland Sutton. He also had the most catches. Kind of a quiet year here for Noah Fant. Overall, the offense was just, bad. The offensive line, I'll be happy to cut Jawan James. That'll be a much-needed move for this team. For the defense, Patrick actually put up a very productive year. Middle linebackers in Madden always have inflated stats. Von Miller with 12 tackles for loss, also 12 sacks. And obviously, he's a huge question in this offseason. Do we bring him back? Do we let him walk? I don't know. Only 4 sacks for Bradley Chubb. And he's at rush end. That is not good. 4 sacks, 9 tackles for loss for Juan Palmer. Honestly, not a crazy year for him either. Interceptions, 4 for Justin Simmons, already making good on that contract, as does Shaquille Griffin. Patrick actually had 2. He might put together a case for Defensive Player of the Year. Who knows? Garyon Conley with a couple. Yay, and our rookie, Trevon Reed. I don't know what that yay was for, but Reed gets a pick as well. So, overall, not a great year, but and also Brandon McManus only had 16 field goal attempts. Man, there's a lot to say about this team, and a lot of them are negative. So I'll keep those to myself, and we'll try to improve this team this offseason. But I did just look, and technically we improved the Broncos record by a game, so we have worked a little bit of magic. NFL MVP goes to Baker Mayfield, my guy. No Broncos, to no one's surprise. My fault. I need to show you Coach of the Year. I can tell you it's not our guy Vic Fangio. Instead, it's Sean McDermott, followed by Mike McCarthy and Kevin Stefanski. AFC Offensive Player of the Year, Ryan Tannehill. Defensive Player of the Year, Miles Jack. Any Broncos here? Patrick was 6. Von Miller was 7. Also, let's see if there was any Broncos here for Offensive Player of the Year. The way our offense looked, I doubt it. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Zach Monroe. Yeah, this is the exact same class I had at the very end of the Bills franchise. That's so annoying. No Broncos. That is a little rough. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Juan Palmer finishes in 2nd. Would have loved to get him that extra experience, but John Edwards gets the nod for the award, and best QB goes to Baker Mayfield. Best running back, Nick Chubb. The Browns just balling out. Best wide receiver, Jamison Crowder. How about that? Best offensive line, Wyatt Teller. He always does well. And the Browns get best D-line. Dude, Cleveland, they got to be headed to the Super Bowl. Best linebacker, Joe Schobert. Over Defensive Player of the Year recipient, Miles Jack, Madden for you. Chris Harris, followed by Stephon Gilmore, Marlon Humphrey. Best kicker, Jason Sanders. No one cares. And the Super Bowl does feature Cleveland. Okay, I was about to say, this team seems OD stacked. They're taking on the Green Bay Packers, but we don't care. We're headed to the offseason. Now I'm just going to go ahead and note on it. I know I said I don't care, but dude, look at the stomping the Packers gave Cleveland. Bro, that is crazy. That team won so many awards just to get freaking railed. That is so funny. Nonetheless, let's talk to some of our free agents. And I want to know how bad regression hit a lot of these guys. And look at that. Von Miller's down from Superstar X Factor to just Superstar. And he's down 2 overall. That makes it tough to justify bringing him back. We already re-signed Malik Reed. We'll come back to him. Kareem Jackson only wants a 1-year deal. He is still an 82 overall, 87 speed, okay zone coverage. He's not looking for a whole lot of money. Drew Lock is still on his rookie deal. And you know what? He wants to head to free agency, so that's, cool, whatever, bro. Melvin Ingram, 83 overall. Running back class is always really, really juiced in free agency, so I think I'm going to wait. Bryce Callahan, I do want to bring him back, even if it's just a 1-year deal. He's played so well in real life. He is deserving of this contract, and he wants to go to free agency. Bro, what did I do? Gerald McCoy, I'll pass on. PJ Hall, nah, it's all right. Derek Wolfe, he got hit hard with aggression. Yeesh. Josie Jules at a 75 overall. We would have our 2 rookies starting otherwise. Only 78 speed. I think we can just do better. I think we really can do better. Patrick, not going to bring him back. Royce Freeman, Andrew Beck. We do need a fullback, but I'll just sign him on the open market. So we'd be losing both our linebackers. There's just got to be better. There's got to be better options out there. What I might do is offer or place the franchise tag on Von Miller. I mean, I'll offer him this 1-year deal. This is pretty much the franchise tag. He's not interested in coming back, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and tag Von Miller, get him for 1 more year. Then he's probably moving on from Denver. So not a whole lot in that stage of free agency. Now we can get into the fun part, and obviously what I meant by fun part was cutting people. Ja'Wuan James gave up 12 sacks last year. We can save $10 million by releasing him. And, we could also bring him back. He probably won't have a ton of interest on the open market, so he can return later on. I don't think I'm going to do it, but Bradley Chubb is coming off a really disappointing season with only 4 sacks, right? And the 5th-year option is not guaranteed. We have plenty of cap space, almost $64 million, so I'm not going to make that decision right now, and I'm not going to cut him. That's what I really meant. But nonetheless, if this was real life and he was that bad and that disappointing, I could see where he gets the scissors. But outside of Ja'Wuan James, that looks like the only cut we're going to make, and now we're actually going to get into free agency. Oh, and Jair Alexander's here. Dang. We did not bring back Bryce Callahan, and the fact Jair Alexander has no competition is just dumbfounding to me. I will give him a 4-year contract. I'm going to bump down the money just a little bit. I'm actually just going to move it to signing bonus. Helps out the cap number a little bit. But nonetheless, we are going to make this contract offer to Jair. I'll pay him whatever. He's 25 years old. 90 points on the offer. Not bad. We also need to get a running back. No offers right now for Melvin Ingram, so we could bring him back conceivably. We also have Philip Lindsay, so it could be something where we're really just looking for a backup. What I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to offer a contract here to Jamal Williams. Super small deal. He'll be the backup behind Lindsay. And, maybe Lindsay is better off for us long term. I would go after Aaron Jones, but it's all right. He's going to command a strong market. I don't really feel like paying a ton of money to a running back. Tackle is a position of need. We could go get a left tackle and move him over to the right side. We could do that with Garrett Bowles as well, but Trent Williams looks like he's getting a strong market, and things get interesting here at right tackle. We could bring back Ja'Wuan James just on a cheaper number than what he was scheduled to make, or we could go spend the big bucks on someone like Mitchell Schwartz, or get a right tackle of the future in Orlando Brown or Mike McGlinchey. Ultimately, I think I'm going to jump into the bidding here for Orlando Brown. I'm going to give him the money he wants, bump it up to a 3rd year, and our contract offer puts us in 4th. I thought the extra year would make that offer better. Let's see what happens when it's just 2. It's the exact same. Okay. So that initial offer put us in at 4th for Orlando Brown. This is obviously a huge position of need after getting rid of Ja'Wuan James, and it was already a position that he was not very good at. That offer puts us ahead just a little bit. I decided to go with Brown over McGlinchey, a year younger, and only really wanted $2 million more over the contract's length, which I didn't mind doing. And for middle linebacker, this is probably our biggest area of need, honestly, looking at our roster. Chris Barnes is a decent, cheap option. He's only 24 years old, but maybe we just go after Leighton Vander Esch here. I mean, this is only $7 million on the cap hit. Honestly, it's a huge position of need, and I think LVE could fill it for us, and now we are the highest bidder. And of course, I have the flexibility to spend all this money on positions other than QB because there aren't good QBs available, and Jameis Winston at this point is going to be regressing, and Drew Lock is almost the same overall. So we jump to stage 2, and we have our shutdown corner, Jair Alexander, a franchise tackle, though he's going to play on the right side. Doesn't want to in real life, but we bring in Orlando Brown nonetheless. We did not sign LVE. We did get Jamal Williams. Man, hopefully that other inside linebacker did not accept any deal right now. We could also just go crazy and get someone like J.J. Watt. Could get an upgrade at center as well. Nonetheless, though, I think the biggest thing to address here is going to be linebacker, and that other guy did sign. What was his name? Yeah, Chris Barnes. Yeah, he's going to L.A. That sucks. But at the worst, we just bring back Josie Jewell, and we'll do so on a one-year deal. And I think this is even less than what he was originally looking for. Oh well, we'll make the offer to Jewell and see if he wants to return to Denver. Totally forgot about Kareem Jackson. In my headcanon, he had already re-signed, so we'll offer him the one-year deal he was looking for. Probably could have bumped the money down a little bit, but it's all good. No worries. And I'm actually looking at some of these safeties. Could any of them play linebacker? Maybe like Eric Reed? Maybe, but I don't know if it's worth the headache of trying to make that adjustment and worth the experiment, honestly. We're going to go ahead and advance to stage 3 now. I think Jewell's going to come back, and he is, as is Kareem Jackson. So we have a little bit of money to spend, and we also have an option here for our 5th year. Is this for Drew Lock? No, it's not. It's for Noah Fant. Yeah, we'll keep Noah Fant around. I mean, he's obviously a stud. So Fant's a big player to keep around, super athletic, and a big part of the offense for sure. So we got $9 million in cap space, and I honestly, I don't know what to do with it. So we got a little less than $7 million in cap room, and I think I might just make an offer to some of these centers, not Pouncey just because he retired in real life, and trying to keep this, true to real life football. I don't know if Paredes is going to want this offer. Depends on what the Giants gave him. Yeah, he's not really feeling that. 92 points on the offer to Ben Jones. Even further behind. Come on. So I went back to Matt Paredes. 93 points on the offer. Barely puts us ahead. Let's see if he takes it. If not, we'll definitely try to address it in the draft. So Paredes said no, and we also signed a kicker, but that's not that big of a deal. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the draft stage and also get a free agency recap. Still some good players out on the free agent market, like Raheem Mostert, not a bad running back. David Njoku, that's actually kind of surprising, especially given his age. League signing, J.J. Watt heads to Indianapolis, gets to play the Texans twice a year. That's pretty fun. Aaron Jones lands in Pittsburgh. The Colts also drop a wad of cash for Trent Williams. Mitchell Schwartz stays in Kansas City. Melvin Gordon is on his way to New York. Pretty sure they still got Saquon. Haven't seen him hit the free agent market, but okay. Bryce Callahan, the former Broncos, on his way to Seattle. AJ Boye, I guess, was a free agent again. He's going to New York. Ronnie Harrison to the Steelers. McGlinchey also going to Seattle. Dude, the Steelers, this never happens in real life. They never spend this much money. But they also get LVE. Interesting. Madden doing some crazy stuff. And they signed Auden Tate. Whoa. And the Seahawks, huge spenders. They get James Daniels. Dude, oh my gosh. If those two teams aren't nasty next year, I don't know what I'm going to do. Paredes decided to go to the Giants, who are also pretty active this offseason. Yep, and that's pretty much it for all the big-time players and interesting names. So we'll go ahead and move on to the NFL draft. So we hold the number 11 pick in this year's draft, and let's see if there's a QB. There's gotta be a good QB, and I am willing to move up to get them, and I see a couple of first-round graded QBs. Good start. Improviser Derek McLean, late first-round talent, and then Madison Wilcox, a scrambler, also a late first-round talent. A little faster. Throw power advantage goes to McLean. Accuracy deep, break sack. Interesting. But these two players look like they'd be better options than Drew Lock, and there's no sleepers. Dang it. But I'm going to go pick by pick, and when one of these QBs is taken, I will probably trade up to try to get the other one. Alright, so I didn't have to simulate far. One of those QBs went number 1 overall. That was Derek McLean. Man, I don't know when the other QB is going to go. The Chargers shouldn't take one. And they do. Pretty sure they still have Justin Herbert, so I don't know what that's about. But let me go look. Literally, they have Justin Herbert. I mean, maybe we try to make a move for Justin Herbert now, but what are we doing, man? That doesn't make any sense. So now I'm just going to go ahead and simulate to our pick. There's actually a couple of players I'm interested in, including a safety and a linebacker, but let's see what's available. And it looks like that safety and linebacker I just mentioned are both gone. Man, I am hurting bad here. Well, we could go out there and get a Von Miller replacement, early first-round talent here, and Kyle Benito. Jalen Cheeks looks like he's okay, kind of a funny name. Craig Fitzsimmons, that's a dope name as well. Tom Finn, late first round talent. I don't know. I'm at a loss of words now. I really wanted one of those QBs or a safety. Maybe Seth Lucas here and slide him over to strong safety. He's got good hit power. Maybe he's somebody who can play in the box. 4.4 speed. Definitely not bad. Alright, started looking at the QB market, and I didn't see anybody who was worthwhile trying to give up this first round pick, but Jordan Love has star dev, and at this point I'm willing to try whatever. I'm going to offer a 4th round pick here for him. I think they'll want more, and they do, but I'm interested to see what it would take to get Jordan Love from the Packers. Our 2nd round pick doesn't quite do it. What players do they need? That's really what I should look at. All right. Garyon Conley, who was like cornerback 4 or 5. Overall wise, he was a CB3, but like in my perspective on this team, he was like CB5. Gets us Jordan Love, and it lets us keep this pick. Jordan Love will 100% start over Drew Lock next year. Let me just make that clear right here and right now. This also gives us the chance to, I could either go Seth Lucas and have the Kareem Jackson replacement. Shoot, he might play now over Kareem Jackson. Or I could get Kyle Benito and have him and Malik Reed on the roster, because next offseason, Miller and Brandley Chubb are free agents. There's also value at outside linebacker like Craig Fitzsimmons, who skipped the combine, late first round talent, and at right outside linebacker, I guess we don't really know there, but we could also move Juan Palmer back to outside linebacker, and we could get like a run stopper here on the interior, or we could go with someone like Craig Watson, who I definitely think I'm going to take, and maybe he is actually who we take with our 2nd round pick. You know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take that safety here. Then we'll loop back around and take that D end and maybe move him to outside linebacker. A little bit of a reach here for Seth Lucas, but I don't mind. 93 speed, 83 hit power. I'm going to go ahead and let him sit this year. I'll move him over to strong safety, and then he'll start in the place of Kareem Jackson for regular season number 3. All right, we are on to the 2nd round. Please tell me that right end is still there. Not going to hesitate. Greg Watson, excuse me. And he's got hidden dev. Said his name wrong, but he forgave me. 6'3", 253. I could see him as a 3-4 outside linebacker. Number 7 in the class. Obviously, that's a huge steal. 86 speed. Only 78 finesse move. But it gives us the opportunity to now... It's easy, definitely, get rid of Von Miller. But then if we also don't get Nick Chubb back, we have Watson and Reed as options as both of their replacements. I think we'll bring back Chubb, though. At least that's what I'm thinking as of right now. Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot on the board that would actually benefit us, so I'm going to try to trade this pick for an interior offensive lineman, and there we go. We have a new starting center, Barber, coming to Denver from Miami. Awesome. Here in the 4th round, I'm just going to take a flyer here on Braden Evans. I don't know if we have a place for him, but it's a good value pick. He's a deep threat, 94 speed. Yeah, we can work with that route running, and you know, at the worst, he's like an okay, speedy wide receiver number 4. And actually, at this point, I don't know a whole lot of what's left in the draft class. The scouting kind of let me down, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to the computer. So here's a recap of how the draft played out for us. It's always funny to see your 2nd round pick, a higher overall. We did great there with Watson. Unfortunately, though, I don't know if he's going to get any immediate playing time. Maybe we could play him where Draymond Jones is right now. And then next year we bump him back to outside linebacker. I think that's what I'm going to do for right now. As for the entire NFL, here is how the class shook out. McLean was a 73 overall. Let's see if he had hidden dev. He did. Well, there was no way we were going to get the number 1 overall pick. That medium accuracy looks like a headache anyways. 80 speed, though, is nice. And then Madison Wilcox. His overall's down. This team has Justin Herbert and now Madison Wilcox. 84 speed. No idea why the Chargers did that, but, you know, that's Madden for you. Anyways, though, here is the highest overall. Daryl Kidd. 3rd round pick, great value there from the Giants. Yo, didn't they just sign somebody in free agency that was a running back? And they got Saquon. Bro, I don't know what they're doing with that backfield, but it's kind of wild. Max Gooden's a really good player. J.J. Hackett, Rashawn Hobbs, another running back, good value. Looks like the Jaguars actually did pretty good. A couple of really solid players. Kyle Benito, I almost took him instead of that safety, and he was 1 overall higher, but normal dev. So he actually is the same overall as Watson. Yep, they're right next to each other. So, and we got him almost a full round later. So I'm actually kind of happy with what we did there. Nonetheless, that's it. And now I'll show you the roster before we head into the regular season number 2. So here's what the team looks like before we head into our second regular season. Jordan Love now under center, replacing Drew Lock, who is actually a higher overall, but nonetheless, I think Love gives us a higher ceiling moving forward. Philip Lindsay with free agent acquisition Jamal Williams. Obviously, that's pretty solid. Cam Sutton and Jerry Jeudy's actually down to star dev. That obviously sucks. KJ Hamler still working in the slot. The offensive line looks pretty good, especially with the addition of Orlando Brown and the trade made to add Barber in at center. And for the defense, Watson actually is starting as of right now. And I'm going to go ahead and bump Draymond Jones up here to left end. I just checked the injury report. Juan Palmer is out for another 9 weeks. So for the time being, Jones is going to start at left end. And then when Palmer's back, we'll have Watson and Palmer opposite each other with Rucker in the middle, who has star dev, by the way. And then the corners, also Reed has star dev. He will be our nickel corner with Jair Alexander and Shaquille Griffin on the outside. Clamps. Justin Simmons is great. Kareem Jackson also very good. Lucas is going to be our strong safety of the future. Reed's also got a pretty good overall there, which is interesting. Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. Really want a better year at a Chubb in specific. And our middle linebackers are kind of weak, but I can work with it. Here are the specialists. Hamler, Reed will be the slot options. Miller, Chubb. Jones, the rush D tackle. This will probably become someone else. Probably Palmer once he's back. Maybe Rucker. We'll see. Josie Jewell and sub linebackers or whatever. Philip Lindsay's going to be our third down back, and our power back is Jamal Williams. So, with all that said and taken care of, we'll go ahead and simulate to the midseason point. We're now at the midseason point, and we are 3-5. Even more surprising, the Chiefs are 2-5. But this team is not progressing like I wish they were, though only a game and a half out of the division lead. So there is hope at the end of the tunnel for us, and we should have Palmer back. Let me look on that. And no, actually, Palmer has 1 more week, then we'll gladly welcome him back to our defense. Jordan Love, 3rd in the NFL in passing yards. Actually, maybe we did find an answer there. We're the number 5 offense in regards to yards, 29th in defensive yards, 16th in scoring. Like to see that higher considering our volume when it comes to yards, and 23rd in defensive scoring. That's so weird because I feel like the defense is definitely the better part of the team. Not a whole lot we can do right now. We'll go ahead and just simulate to the playoffs and hope that we win the division and get to host a playoff game. So we finished the year with a win against the Kansas City Chiefs, though it looks like we did not make the playoffs. We did get a game better, and we actually turned it around. We were with 3-5, so we finished the year 5-3, but the Chargers with Justin Herbert and the 3rd overall pick, what was it, Wilcox, right? That QB. They win the division. Doesn't make any sense, but anyways, the team did get a little bit better, and I'm eager to look at the stats now. Alright, what do these stats look like? Top 10 in passing yards for Love, top half of the league in regards to passing touchdowns, 16th in offensive yards, and we finished the year 12th in defensive yards. And then I guess that's 12th in points scored on the offensive end, 10th in defensive points allowed. Bro, what? Okay, so we finished the year super strong, especially the defense. The defense definitely got better. Love was 100% an upgrade over Locke, higher completion percentage, higher QB rating. Happy about that. That gives me confidence, at least if we can't find a better QB, that he'll be serviceable. I might go ahead and change the offensive playbook, however. I don't know. I don't want to tinker with it too much, though. Lindsay and Williams were okay, I guess. Love to get a stud running back there. Jerry Jeudy, much improved season. 8 touchdowns. Love to see it. 9 touchdowns for KJ Hamler. That's the advantage of working in the slot. 700 yards, not bad for Cortland Sutton, but he is our number 1 receiver. Only had 2 touchdowns. That's kind of weak. Noah Fant, though, with a really nice year. 800 yards, 5 scores. And how did the offensive line play? Really eager to see. No more than 7 sacks allowed. I will take that any day of the week, twice on Sunday. Josie Jewell up into triple figures when it comes to tackles. Tackles for loss. Draymond Jones with 14. Interesting. 11 for Von Miller, 10 for Bradley Chubb. He did get 1.5 more sacks this year, but still headlining and leading the way was Von Miller. He also had 2 picks. What? 5 picks, though, for Draymond Jones, 3.5 for Watson, and Watson really wasn't in a rush end specialist role, so honestly, those numbers aren't too bad, and we have quite a few players with 2 interceptions this year. All things considered, though, this team did get better, and that is a step in the direction. That's back-to-back seasons now where we've gotten 1 win better. Now we just got to make the big jump and land in the playoffs. Well, the Browns get an opportunity at revenge in the Super Bowl. This time they take on the New York Football Giants. Interesting. Back-to-back Baker Mayfield. Dude, go crazy. Coach of the Year goes to John Harbaugh, followed by Ron Rivera. AFC Player of the Year is Baker Mayfield. No surprise there. Any Broncos? Hey, Jordan Love at 9. I don't know. Maybe we keep Jordan Love around for another year. I was also able to purchase the coach upgrade for QBs, so hopefully that makes a difference next year. Von Miller, 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Dude, man, that makes it tough to get rid of him. Josie Jewell was 4th. Okay, that's kind of not what I expected. Braden Evans finished 7th in Offensive Rookie of the Year. Must have been a not great class, not like in regards to production. Defensive Rookie of the Year, yo, Craig Fitzsimmons. I was like, yo, we could get a budget safety, good value, when he wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. I am kicking myself right now. Watson finishes 4th, and that's it for us. Best QB, Baker Mayfield. Best running back, Nick Chubb. Are the Browns going to go crazy? Dude, Jamison Crowder, back-to-back years, best wide receiver. Are you kidding? Ronnie Stanley with Wyatt Teller behind him. Sheldon Rankins, and then Myles Garrett behind him, the recipients of last year's best OL and DL. Interesting. TJ Watt, best linebacker. Von Miller was at 2nd. Best DB, Ronnie Harrison. Love to see him on the Steelers. Marcus Peters wins it, and Will Lutz just edges out Tyler Bass. Okay, cool. Now we can head into the offseason. And the Browns do get revenge and win an awesome Super Bowl, 38-31, at least from the score. That looks like it'd be an awesome game. And we can bring back Von Miller for 1 more year. Him and Bradley Chubb. Chubb's younger, but the production was there for Von Miller, like no doubt. Like this dude put up crazy numbers, 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year voting for a reason. Philip Lindsay's also up for a contract. We'll do that in the open market. Kareem Jackson, we've already drafted his replacement. Dalton Reisner, I'll probably wait till free agency, though. I don't know. Guard's tough. Guard can get weirdly competitive, so I might swing back to that. Josie Jewell, we'll wait and see. Draymond Jones is coming off a really nice year, and we're going to move one of those ends to outside linebacker because we're going to keep either Von Miller or Bradley Chubb. So I'm going to go ahead and not get Jones to re-sign. Cool. Not bringing back Drew Lock. We will need a punter, but I'll just do that on the open market. Kendall Hinton, shout out to the wide receiver that played QB that one game this year for Denver. Man, this is tough. Part of my conundrum here is I don't know if I really feel comfortable doing a 4-year deal with Bradley Chubb. I'd almost feel more confident giving him the franchise tag. I think, man, and at that point it's like, why would you just not franchise Von Miller again? Other than, like, in real life, that number would be so bloated. But then you could give him this 1-year deal, let Chubb walk. Chubb's going to hit regression in 2 years. I don't know. This is really challenging. I'm going to give Chubb the money he wants in regards to salary signing bonus, but I'm going to knock it down to a 3-year deal. I assume he'll say no. So at that point, I'm going to franchise tag him for $15 million. That was pretty generous. Everybody else, I think I'm gonna let walk. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and sign Dalton Reisner. It's a pretty modest cap hit. And you know what? He wants to go to free agency. Everybody's just hating on Denver right now. I don't know why. So I just moved Watson to left outside linebacker, and I think I'm gonna let Von Miller walk, especially after the franchise tag. He played great, but I mean, in all reality, I want to see these young players actually play. Malik Reed also down to normal depth, so it's good we're bringing back Chubb at least for 1 more year. But, you know, we draft these players and it feels like they never see the field. So I'm tired of that. And we'll have Jones and Palmer at ends, Rucker in between them. And we'll have Watson and Chubb rushing from the outside. Yeah. I'm interested by this offseason. This is definitely going to be a challenging one. Alright, so I think we have our first cap casualty, and it's actually going to be Graham Glass now. This will save us $8 million after the penalty. And, again, I don't know how to say his name, but he's only 3 overall lower, and he's way younger. Also in the last year of his deal. And we can draft / attack IOL in free agency. So, yeah, Glass is now off the team. So we are on to free agency, and you know what? I think I'm going to shell out some money here for a good running back. And Kareem Hunt is definitely an upgrade over Philip Lindsay from last year. I don't know about a 4-year deal. He's actually only going to be regressing from here on out. This is a modest contract, and he's an 89 overall, so 2 years, I can live with that. And since he has no other teams interested, 71 points might get the job done. If not, I'll jump in the race for like Tony Pollard, who's just a younger Philip Lindsay. Or maybe we start bidding for Devin Singletary, but running back is definitely a position we need to address. Honestly, while I'm here and there's no interest for Tony Pollard, he's only 26 years old, I'll give him the contract he's looking for. Literally 3.61 cap hit. We need both running backs. Williams and Lindsay are free agents, so we could definitely use a good tandem. And Hunt and Pollard, that's kind of filthy. In a ton of ways, this team could use another wide receiver. Mecole Hardman is tempting. Have him be like this speed demon. Have him basically just take over KJ Hamler's role in the slot. I don't know. Hamler hasn't gotten to as high an overall as I would have liked. And Mecole Hardman's only 25 years old. We'll swing back around to this because I want to use our cap, wisely. But I'll keep Hardman on my radar. Dalton Risner does have some other teams offering him contracts, but I'm going to give him a 94-point offer and barely take the lead. If we don't get Risner and Tomlinson signs with the Titans, that was not a great offer. That's good for us. Yeah, if we miss it on these two, left guard just became a huge need. We could also use a right guard. David Castro is obviously a stud. Kevin Zeitler, star dev, no offer. Same thing with Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. You guys have got to be tired of seeing him at this point. Kevin Zeitler's interesting. 1-year contract. We can definitely make that number work. 91 points. I think that'll get the job done. We're not going to make an offer, but currently no interest right now for Von Miller. I'm sure that'll change in stage 2 or 3. But for middle linebacker, obviously this is a weak position for us. Devin Bush is a stud in Madden. Like, he always goes ham. So I'm going to give him the money he's looking for. Like, I will pay this dude. Almost $8.3 million on the cap hit. 98 points. Does that put us in first? It puts us in third. Come on, that's harsh. What if we make this 4 years? That actually lightens the cap hit. And that keeps it at 98 points. Dang. Thought I was getting clever there, but I'm going to up the signing bonus some more, and I think this will put us ahead of the Steelers. Pretty sure they were the first place team. 104 points. Okay, yep, now we are ahead. Honestly, might go ahead and just throw out an offer. 1-year deal to Bobby Wagner. We got the cap room. He's got no interest. I'll lower this a little bit. And in a perfect world, we could have Wagner and Devin Bush up the middle, and finally our middle linebacker position would be addressed. And because we still have some cap room, I'm going to make an offer here to Mecole Hardman. Had him in the Bills video as well, if my memory serves. And we're trailing the Chargers here. And that's part of why I wanted to make this deal to Hardman. Just because I don't want to see him end up in a division rival. Or with a division rival, I should say. So we bump up the signing bonus, and that puts us at 101 points and ahead. And we still have almost $9 million in cap room to try to adjust and make better offers to those who don't like what we gave them the first time around, but we'll go ahead and advance to stage 2 now. Mecole Hardman has accepted the contract, as did Devin Bush, Bobby Wagner, Derek Watt, we just need a fullback, Tony Pollard, and Kevin Zeitler, but a big rejection from Dalton Risner. So now the question becomes, what's the competition look like for Kareem Hunt, that of course the Chargers are in, and also, Quinnen Williams? I might, hold on, we'll come back to that, but Kareem Hunt now has competition. And also, what about Tomlinson? Did he sign? Are we looking for a left guard? No, Tomlinson did not sign anywhere, so we will definitely offer him some money. 1 year, $7 million, a little over it. That should put us ahead, and it barely does. I'm going to go ahead and just bump that up just for some wiggle room. Bro, tell me why I totally forgot Draymond Jones was a free agent. Tell me why I didn't know in the first place. So we lost Draymond Jones to the Cardinals. And 2 potential replacements, more so Christian Wilkins, is now gone. Dang, I fumbled the bag really hard there. So now we're at a crossroads. We really need a right end, and Quinnen Williams obviously would be great. Kind of regretting signing Mecole Hardman, and that's kind of the truth of it. We could retract our offer to Kareem Hunt, or here's what I think we might do. How about a reunion? And we'll just move Watson back down to D end. Maybe we'll just run this back like nothing happened on the defensive end. It's only a 44-point offer though. I don't think he takes that. And like we didn't even bump up the money to Hunt. So what I decided to do was retract the offer to Laken Tomlinson. He's a 31-year-old left guard. Bump up this offer to Kareem Hunt. Now we have $14 million. I don't know how much Quinnen Williams is looking for, and actually looks like we might be able to afford this. If we can get Quinnen Williams, then that's definitely the move. Let's see if this one goes through. No, not enough salary cap. I could also cut a few more players who could save us like $1 million or so at a time. I'm seeing cap room, and then it's not letting me offer this, which is really aggravating me at this point. Dude, I'm at a loss for words. What if we made this a 5-year deal? Would Quinnen Williams go for that? 86 points. I don't think that is good enough to beat Cincy, and it's not. Did all that work and all that talking for like literally nothing. And that actually all of a sudden gave us a ton more room. I can't understand this game. So it doesn't look like Quinnen Williams is going to be a possibility, but I definitely think Von Miller is now, especially considering he still has no interest. Let's see if it'll let me offer this. It does. Only 62 points, but he might take that. And at that point, we would just move Watson back down to defensive end. Kareem Hunt accepted his contract, and we have a 5th-year option for Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, I already think wide receiver was something I had to address. That's why I felt the need to go sign Mecole Hardman. So I don't want that core to get any worse. And I think Jeudy is a really good player too. So obviously don't want to see him leave for that reason. Still no other interest from around the league on Von Miller, which is just baffling. I have no idea why. And I might go ahead and just create a little bit more cap room to try to bump up that offer and have him accept. So I freed up another $2 million in cap room, and now I think we'll be able to get this offer into a territory where Von Miller would be more likely to sign. 70 points, so that did bump the offer up. I'm going to go ahead and just raise it up a little bit more. I don't know why it keeps totally resetting. It gets pretty annoying when Madden does that, but nonetheless, leaves us with $1.5 million. Gets the offer from 66 points up to 72. More inclined to see him take that, and actually I think, is this another 5th-year option? We have 2 this year? Jordan Love. Yeah, I think we got to pick this up, right? Like, he played pretty well last year. I mean, he was in the Offensive Player of the Year conversation, top 10. So I think Jordan Love is the guy moving forward. All right, on to the final stage of free agency, and Von Miller did accept his contract, which obviously is a good thing. And now we will get into the free agency recap. Pretty sure Quinnen Williams decided to sign with the Bengals. He was the top free agent, and he did do that. 108 points. Yeah, there was no way we were going to keep up with that offer. Devin Singletary heads to LA after we outbid them for Kareem Hunt. DeCastro is back with the Steelers. Sterling Shepard to the Eagles stays in the NFC East. Interesting. Trey Henderson to Jacksonville, as does David Njoku. Scotty Miller to the Seahawks. Dalton Risner ends up in Miami. Rashad Fenton to Houston. Russell Gage to Detroit, Matt Breida to Green Bay. All this looks interesting and stuff, but let's go ahead and move on to the NFL draft. All right, we hold the 18th overall pick in this year's draft. And I'm just curious, I don't think QB is on our radar, especially now that we picked up the 5th-year option for Jordan Love, and he played well. But it does look like there's some good QBs in this class. Late first rounder here, and Tyler Cool, I think would be how you say that. Kurt Heck, late first rounder, second fastest 40. Phil Robertson, mid first round talent, not bad. But there's no elite players here, so actually don't hate the fact that we're sticking with Jordan Love. Just because going into the final season that we'll play here, it's kind of a headache to have a rookie QB. They're not always good immediately, so nonetheless, we know Love is good. He put up numbers, and we'll ride with him for our final year of this video. Simulating to our pick, which is number 18 overall. Let's see who we're taking here. A couple of the QBs are available. We could go back to outside linebacker, but now that we got Von Miller back, I don't think that's that big of a deal. We do need a left guard, and it looks like Zach Epstein is pretty good. Mid-first round per talent, excuse me. Right guard, don't look great. You know what? It's about the only hole I know this team has, so he's a good value pick, and the stats, I'm honestly pretty good, especially that run block finesse. I'm actually kind of surprised. That always feels like the weakest stat on rookie offensive linemen, but all that to say, that feels like a good pick, and it addresses probably the biggest need on the team. All right, we're now into the second round. There's actually a couple of first-round players still on the board. One's a QB. I kind of thought about it. There's also a D tackle here. That's definitely a position we might address. But fifth-round projection, maybe we'll grab him here in a second. But the guy I'm actually really interested in is this linebacker, Evan Melvin. I know we just signed Devin Bush and Bobby Wagner, but dude, this dude crushed the combine. Late first-round tag, I'm not even thinking about it. We're taking him here. Normal dev, and this is the guy to take over for Bobby Wagner. 88 speed, holy cow. Also, it's just good to have some depth. Maybe we can even sneak him in like the number 2 sub linebacker package and have him play over Wagner, because Wagner almost certainly doesn't have 88 speed. But we'll see, and that might be an opportunity to get him some playing time and also, phase out the aging Wagner. Now that we're in the third round, I'm looking for that defensive tackle, first-round talent. I'm actually not seeing him. Was he snaked? Oh, there he is. Braxton Guyton. We'll go ahead and just take him here. Good value, number 26 in the class. Took him at 82. Good strength block shed. I don't think he's starting over Rucker. Actually, I can tell you he's not starting over Rucker. But at the least, he's good depth. So we're in the fourth round now. This will almost assuredly be the last pick I do. There's just not a whole lot you can do to make this team better, if I'm being 100% honest with you. I'm not going to go take another D tackle. We took a wide receiver last year. We just signed one. Could go after that right end. That's a power rusher. And you know what? That looks like the best value. So we'll just say screw it and draft Tyrone Brooks. Normal dev, 63 in the class, took him at 114. Cool, he's a backup. Our defense is actually kind of stout, but now I'm just going to hand it off to the computer and simulate the rest of the draft. All right, here's a recap of our draft class. Epstein's going to be a day one starter. Evan Melvin won't be, but he's certainly a nice depth, and if we were to go on to a 4th and 5th season, he would take over in the place of Bobby Wagner. And it'd be 2 really athletic inside linebackers, him and Devin Bush. The computer did these final 3 picks, kind of whiffed here on Scotty Jacobs, 59 overall, yeesh. But it doesn't really matter. This team is really good. Like, this is definitely a playoff caliber team. I don't know if we'll go all the way like we did with the Bengals rebuild. Check that video out if you haven't seen it already. But here's the rest of the draft class around the NFL. Greg Bird, top player, goes in the second round. Running backs always kind of juiced. Really good value here. Second highest overall player was Ryan Rett. Obviously, he was on the board when we were picking, and we passed on him. 85 speed, that's pretty good too. Jamie Peel, 93 speed, good value there. But yeah, looks like a pretty solid draft class, and overall, I think our class was pretty solid, addressed needs, added depth. All that to say, we did our job, and now we are on to the third and final regular season. All right, so here is the team before our third and final regular season. The offense, a couple of new additions across the O-line at both guard spots, but it looks really good. Noah Fant's up to an 85 overall. Albert Okwuegbunam, also up to a 71, just a cool name to say. 3-star dev receivers. Mecole Hardman will be our slot wideout. KJ Hamler is also up to a 76, so maybe it's a little premature for me to go after Hardman. And if we don't win a Super Bowl, I might regret signing Hardman and not getting Quinnen Williams, but we'll get to the defense. I think it's really good. Jordan Love, one of the best 74 overalls in the league. Hunt and Pollard, nasty tandem there. And then for the defense, so what I did was I slid Chubb down to D-end. He's just a little bigger than Watson. I don't know if that really makes a difference in Madden Sim, but he's a little bigger, so I wanted him at end over Watson. But when it comes to specialists, which we'll show you here in a second, it's still Miller and Chubb. And I also played with his superstar X-Factor abilities, or his abilities just in general. And now I put Edge Threat on him. I didn't realize he didn't have it already. So hopefully that turns his bad numbers around. I think it will. Rucker in the middle, Palmer up to a 79 overall. Really wish he had something better than normal dev. First year seeing Lucas starting. He's at strong safety. Justin Simmons up to a 92 overall. Dude's a stud. Jair Alexander, and then right now it's Reed. playing on the outside. And you'll see Best here as our number 3 corner. That's because Michael Ojemudia is out for another 8 weeks, and Shaquille Griffin is out for 3. Once Griffin's back, this will kind of get back to a more normal state, but that's why you go after cornerback depth, and I'm glad Best is star depth. Hopefully he plays, okay for the handful of weeks he'll be getting significant playing time. And here are the specialists. Miller and Chubb, who now also has edge threat, as I mentioned. Palmer in between them. Reed in the slot. Bush and Wagner, definitely the best sub linebacking, tandem we've had during this video. Hardman in the slot. Hunt's getting all the touches, but Pollard's in the mix as well. But that pretty much does it. Now we're ready to get on to our third and final season. I'm actually going to keep the playbooks the same. The team got a lot better by the end of last season, so I don't want to blame it on the playbooks, and we'll go ahead and simulate to the midseason mark. I'm going to say we'll be 5-3. Alright, coming off an absolute stomping of the Detroit Lions. You'll love to see it, and we're headed into our bye week. We actually had a player, both players, bro. This team is about to be nasty. I don't know what our record is, but Jordan Love, Offensive Player of the Week. Dude, look at that stat line. 4 tutties? Dude, he's a dog. And 3 sacks for Bradley Chubb. Yeah, I'd say edge threat was the missing component. What's our team's record? I said 5-3. We're on the bye week. Oh, at 5-3, I called it. You know what? These guys have played really well. I'm actually going to go ahead and take care of this just because we're here. I'm going to go rest over prep just to avoid any injuries. And also, this is wild. I'm pretty sure this is still with some injuries, specifically at corner. Michael Ojemudia. I guess it's not the biggest deal, but nonetheless, it is an injury. Here's who would be free agents if we were to go into another offseason. Obviously, Von Miller. Shaquille Griffin's contract would be up. Bradley Chubb is a free agent. Noah Fant. Probably Wagner probably wouldn't come back. Kevin Zeitler, depending on free agency, maybe. Michael Ojemudia, I would make especially for that price, I would make an initiative to bring him back. Punter, backup QB. KJ Hamler has kind of been expended. It's a super cheap deal, though. You would have to consider taking that 95 speed for $3.5 million a year. You'd probably bring him back at that point. Star dev offensive lineman, good for depth, and it's a cheap contract. Probably let a lot of these other guys walk. Maybe you keep Albert Okwuegbunam, 88 speed's tough to replace. But yeah, this would be an interesting offseason to try to handle. Now Chubb's probably got crazy stats, and you only get about $54 million in total in cap room. So if it was me, you let Miller walk. You bring back Griffin. He only wants a 1-year deal, so yeah, you definitely bring back Griffin. You probably sign Chubb. You definitely try to sign Fant. Bring back Ojemudia for cheap. Bring back Hamler for cheap, and then you kind of go from there with what you can. It would definitely make for an interesting offseason, but that's not my headache to handle, so we'll go ahead and look at some stats. Currently leading the division. That is a welcome sight. Top 5 in passing yards, or passing touchdowns, for Love. 2nd in offensive yards. 25th in defensive yards, which doesn't make sense. Kareem Hunt's the leading rusher and 2nd in tutties. 5th in points scored, so our offense is just lit. And we're 2nd in defensive points allowed. So kind of that Bill Belichick, bend but don't break Pat's defense over the past, decade plus. But dude, this team looks nice. In regards to injuries, do we have any big ones? KJ Hamler, Mecole Hardman's out for 2 more weeks, so we'll obviously love to have him back. And then Von Miller out 5 weeks. That's a pretty big one, but by the end of the season, as long as we're in the playoffs, these two will be playing in those playoffs, and we should be good to go. So now we'll go ahead and advance to the playoffs. We're 5-3. I'll say we match that and go 10-6. We are in the playoffs, and we are taking on the Baltimore Ravens. We went 12-4. Dog, we went 7-1 over the second half of the year. Dude, we are nasty. Let's go. Oh, look at this. I just opened it up for fun. Von Miller likely to retire, so our entire team gets a crazy morale boost. Let's go. Dude, we're winning this ship, no doubt. Here's a message from Von, probably saying, he's gonna retire. Dude, so our morale is about to be through the roof. Bro, let's go. That is tough. That's sick. Let's go ahead and look at some of these stats before we get into that game, though. Dude, this is what I've been working for. This is what we've been trying to get this team to. Number 5 in offensive yards. Same for defensive yards. So again, the second half of the year, defense just turned it up. 3rd in points per game. And the defense, third. Dude, oh, this might be the best team I've had in any of these videos yet. Jordan Love, not a whole lot of passing yards, but best QB rating we've seen so far. Best completion percentage, 35 tutties. You love to see it. And definitely the best running back season we've had. Pollard actually was kind of quiet, but 8 tutties isn't bad. Sorry, my controller spazzed right there. But Kareem Hunt, 1,300 yards. Let's go. He might have actually led the NFL in rushing. I'll have to look at that in 1 second. Receiving, great year. Best year by far for Cortland Sutton. Mecole Hardman, he missed games and put up these numbers. He had the best yards per game average. That's wild. Noah Fant, really solid here. 9 touchdowns. And Jerry Jeudy, as the 4th option, put up these numbers. We'll take it. That is awesome. The offensive line, if someone's not allowing more than 7 sacks, I am very happy. Linebackers, look at this. Look at these. 2 guys with over 100 tackles. Let's go. That's why I wanted to bring them both in. Tackles for loss, Bradley Chubb. There we go. He just needed edge threat. Look at these stats. I feel so dumb. This team could have been nasty all along, but I just didn't have edge threat on this man. So he, Von Miller, both in double digits. And then after that's not a whole lot of sacks left to go around. But Bobby Wagner absorbed 6 of them. Bro, what? This man was just like, let me vouch these sacks from Palmer and Watson and Guyton. Yo, all right, Bobby Wagner, dog. What a beast. As for interceptions, 3 for Seth Lucas in his first year starting. Dude, this team is cracked. Shaquille Griffin, 3 picks. 2 for Jair. There's no other way for me to put this. This team is yoked. It's so good. But with that said, now this is what it comes down to. So, taking on the Baltimore Ravens, we'll go ahead and advance a week and hopefully come away with a W. And we do. Look at that. We shut out the Baltimore Ravens. And they always have one of the toughest offenses to slow down in Madden. Dude, that is crazy. So now in the AFC Divisional Round, we take on the Tennessee Titans. We're again at home, and record-wise, the Titans are worse. So fingers crossed we're on to the the championship game. Oh, dude, no. Oh, that's rough. Oof. Titans spanked us. Dang. So that kind of sucks to see the year come to a close that way. But this is definitely a team I think if we did 4 or 5 regular seasons with, I think eventually we would win a Super Bowl. And look at the Titans. Look at this run for the Tennessee Titans. They're in the Super Bowl taking on the Eagles. We'll see who comes out on top after we advance. NFL MVP is Patrick Mahomes. Any Broncos? No. Okay. That's kind of disappointing with how good we were this year. I thought we would have. Yo, we won Coach of the Year, though. Let's get it. That's tough. That's the best accomplishment yet. Offensive Player of the Year. Where's my man Jordan Love? He's got to be here. There we go. Jordan Love at 8. Defensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett wins it. Bradley Chubb at 4. That feels kind of low. But not bad, not bad. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't even know if we would have had any players that were major contributors. So nobody there. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Nope. Braxton Guyton was there at 10. Best QB. Love is at 5. Best running back. Kareem Hunt. Let's get it. Best wide receiver. Jarvis Landry, followed by OBJ. Browns, dude, the Browns and Sim just go, they're cracked. There's no other way to put it. Cortland Sutton was at 8. That's good. Best offensive line, Orlando Brown at 7. That's good. Best defensive lineman, Bradley Chubb at number 2, just behind Myles Garrett, who I think won that award all 3 seasons. That doesn't even make sense. They doesn't add up. Best linebacker, TJ Watt, followed by Matt Milano. Okay. And Andrew Van Ginkel. Cool. And Von Miller all the way down at 9. 10.5 sack season. Okay. Best DB. Did our safety make it by chance? No, he did not. Best kicker. Bass finishes at 3rd. I'll tell you what. This was a great year. We didn't come away with the Super Bowl, but this team was super fun to play with. And also, for the record, the Tennessee Titans went on to win the Super Bowl. So the only team that could stop us was the team to win it all. So that's not too bad. I'll definitely take that. But that's going to do it for the video, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed. It was definitely fun, especially towards the end. Hit the like button if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you're new and want more Madden and football content like this. And comment down below if you think that the Denver Broncos should, one, go after Jordan Love. I mean, look at this man's up to an 80 overall. But also comment down below if you think the Broncos win a Super Bowl in the next 3. And, you know, we could even branch down to 5 years. Do you think the Broncos can do it? Also, if you think they're going to get Deshaun Watson, I'd love to hear your argument for why they do. But nonetheless, that's it for the video, everybody. My name's Tej. Until next time, I'm signing off.
I'm part of the last generation that remembers time of God. Jeez.